Hello all. So welcome to today's session on Maths for UC. This is our last in the series of Maths for UC. So today we'll be covering what is known as data interpretation. Now, this particular topic, this has been asked many number of times. Now, there could be reasons why they have included data interpretation in a UCED examination or a CED examination for various points. One being that you work with a lot of data, being designers, being user researchers, being interaction designers, being product designers. You deal with a lot of data. That data you need to interpret to get in, particular insights, or you need to know particular product features, or they could be something like product requirements, user requirements. So for these factors, you need to work with a lot of data, and interpreting that data is one essential skill that the designer possesses. So for this particular paper, for UCED and CED paper, now NID could also give such questions. Even in NIFT, some questions can pop up that cater to this particular topic. To begin with, what I have divided this lecture into three parts. Three various parts according to which questions might be asked. Okay, so do keep a track of how I proceed with today's lecture. Do keep a note of what are the key pointers that I try to convey to you. That's how you'll get a fair idea when these questions pop up into the examination. Then you'll be able to cater it according to the requirement of the question. So without further ado, let's begin with this session. So the first scenario, or the first part where of data interpretation, scenario number one, would be according to a graph-based question. Graph could be in form of a linear graph. It could be in form of a pie chart. It could be in a form of some other distribution of data, distribution set. So according to these questions, they'll be fairly easy to interpret, but there are some tricks, some tips that I would want to give you along with the lecture as it progresses. So do keep a track of that. Let us look at the first question. So a car moves along a curving road. There's a curving road. I don't know what that is. And it moves at a constant speed. So suppose X miles per hour, X kilometers per hour, kilometers per minute, anything you can interpret. And this stays constant throughout the journey of this car as it moves through the path. That remains constant. Which of the following graphs, A, B, C, or D, correctly shows the movement of car in the X direction with respect to time? Now, two directions are shown to you. In this graph, if you see, one is this X, that is the horizontal axis. In horizontal axis, X is marked. And on the vertical axis, Y is marked. If you notice clearly, time is not mentioned. But I have to plot the graph with respect to time. Now, if you consider speed equal to distance upon time, now they say speed is constant for the car for the whole journey, X kilometers per minute. Some distance would be there, and it covers in some amount of time. Speed is constant, so time variation would not be much. Only the path that is defining, how it moves in the direction of X with respect to time that I have to know. Now, if we see clearly, Y is not one of my concerns. You need to look at it very carefully. Suppose I have the graph here. Now, suppose I mark some of these pointers. Suppose the car starts at 0. X is the distance, mind it. It is not time, it is not speed, it is distance. And Y is one coordinate. So suppose 0 kilometers, then 5, 10. You can take any number. I'm just taking multiples of 5. You can take 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, anything you want. I'm taking multiples of 5. Suppose this car moves 40 kilometers, for example. And I have to plot this particular thing with respect to time. Now, my plot would look like this. That is demanded in the options that I have an x-axis that goes vertically, and the time that is progresses, I keep it horizontal. Great. Now my time from horizontal that changes to vertical. Now 0 will start from here, then 5, then 10, then 15, then 20, 25, 30, 35, and let's mark a 40 right here. 35 and then 40. So I mark these in the vertical axis, and the horizontal axis is time. Let us also divide that into some parts. Suppose this is 1 hour, 2 hour, 3 hour. That doesn't matter. You can take it any value. If you want to keep it multiples of 5, you can keep that. Does not matter. Now comes the interesting part. I've plotted two graphs. Now in this question, the same was demanded, that you have a x versus time. Now let us see. Let us consider from 0 to 5. Let us consider the first grade. From 0 to 5, the car moves constantly, takes some turn and moves up till here. So from 0 to 5, time will also progress. So it is going linearly. Car moves ahead, so time will also increase. It covers 5 kilometers, so it will be covering in some time. Suppose say 1 hour it covers. So time would also be moving and the car is also moving. So distance versus time, it will be a linear graph. Now if we see for some part, it stays at 5. So my graph would be constant at 5 for some time. Because distance is not moving. Distance is not changing, but time is progressing. Car is still moving. After this point, the car takes a turn. From 5 to 10, it again goes up linearly. From 5 to 15 also, it moves. So let us, from 10 to 15 also it moves. It is moving in a curvature, but it doesn't matter. It will move linearly or it will take a turn. It doesn't matter. You just plot an approximate graph. From 15 to 20 also, this car moves, progresses ahead. 15 to 20 bhi ja raha hai, moves ahead. Perfect. Now here comes the twist. From 20, it moves say towards 21, 22. It goes back to 21 and back to 20. So here it will move a bit, then take a dip, goes to, from 20 to 25 it moves. So 20, say 21 it covers, then goes back to 21 and goes back again to 20. 20 say aage it goes even further to 15. So my graph would take this sort of a dip, 20, 21, then it moves back almost up till 15. Here. Then 15 say it rises, goes to 20. Again. Uske baad, after 20, 25 to 30, it almost goes linearly. 25, 30, it goes linearly. And then it goes straight ahead to 30, 35, and 40. It will just cover the distance. So my graph looks something like this. At 5, there was one standstill. This was linear. There was one dip that I saw after 20. After 20, it moves to 21, takes a dip up till 15. No, this is 15. You're not able to recognize, this is 15. Almost up till 15. It is not touching 15, you can see. And moves ahead, goes back to 20, this turn, then moves up till 25 and straight ahead. Now you can just match from the options. If you see here, if I see the first graph, it is taking a dip. Let's say change the color. It's taking a dip right here. So this graph is wrong. Option number A. It increases drastically and takes this much of a dip. But this much of a dip is not required. There's this much difference. B is also incorrect. Let us take a look at D. In D also, it is taking a lot of dip and it is increasing to very high values at this point. So D is also incorrect. Our curve almost matches to this. option number C. If you can see here, rises, becomes constant, again goes ahead. At 20, it takes a dip back to 15, then moves ahead and goes on till 40. So C is the correct option. Okay, so you have to take information in this particular sense. Then you'll get the correct answer. The option would be C. Okay, all right, let's move on. Second type of questions in the graphical interpretations. Following diagram shows a distribution of population in an apartment building as per professions. Apartment building is there, different professions: doctor, engineer, businessman, and designer. And they have given you a set of correct or incorrect statement. You have to mark which of them are correct. First statement says doctors and businessmen combined is less than half of the residents. 1/3 population is engineers. So basically, you have to look at this pie chart and interpret how your information is transmitted. Suppose I've taken the same data, I've taken the same figure right here with distributions of doctors, engineers, businessmen, and designers. First statement, go by statement for this kind of questions. Doctors and businessmen combined is less than half of the total residents. What are doctors? Doctors are in blue, and businessmen are in dark blue. Sorry, green. Okay, so I see this blue data and I see this green. More than half would mean that half of this area is covered by the whole pie chart. So if I take this green part and I fix it next to this, you will not be able to move such a thing, but what you will be able to do is you'll be able to move it here and there visually. So let's take, I've taken the same green area and let's paste it right in next to it. This is the green portion. Now this says doctors and businessmen. So this is doctor and this is businessman. They say that combined is less than half of the total residents. What will be half? If I take a straight line from here, this portion is one half, this portion is second half below. Okay, so this much area is remaining that I'm marking with blue, I'm crossing out with blue. So less than half is combined doctors plus businessmen. So my first option is correct. Let's take the second one. About 1/3 of the population is engineers. Engineers are marked in red. This is engineer. So almost 1/3 of the population is engineers. So I have to again check my graph. This section right here, what I have to do is I have to do a 1/3 of this. Let me just rub the first calculation that we made of doctors and businessmen, and let us visualize how much area is covered by businessmen. So same half, I have rotated. Let's paste it on top of it. This is the section that is for engineers. So same set of data I have marked right here just to help you visualize it better. Of course, you will not be able to cut and copy, but it is more into observation based, how you can take the data. Or you can, you have some cutouts of, you can trace the image and you can check the area and then multiply it, take a cutout and see how much area each of them is covering, and you can know. So if you see, only some portion of it, some portion here and some portion here is left out. One portion is equal, so there are 3 portions. So each portion, this portion I have to see, because this portion was originally available to me in this graph, in the original graph. This is 1/3, almost 1/3, because a portion is remaining. If they would have said exactly 1/3, then you would have crossed it out. But it says about 1/3. So B is also correct. If it would have said, that it is exactly equal to 1/3, then this would be wrong. Almost likha hai, so you have to mark B. All right. What about the third one? Engineers and designers combined is about 60% of the total residents. Let's just keep it this also aside. So we have the original figure. Where are engineers? The red guys, and designers. Designers are in blue. This portion. So if I see, this portion, engineers and designers combined is about 60% of the total residents. Okay, so I have this much area. I'll just take out my pencil right here. Let's take a purple one. This is this is designers in purple. This is businessmen. So I have to combine this and this data. So I can just take this portion of the pie chart, the red portion, keep it next to the purple one and see how it is fitting. Suppose I take this portion again, this red portion, and I've just rotated it, and I'll keep it next to the figure, next to the purple figure. I keep it exactly next to it. Now what happens? If I see half of the portion is up till here, this is one half of the portion. I'll mark the other half as well. Say this curvature also, I mark both of them. This is half the portion. Almost if I see, this is also covering almost 10 to 12% of the area. So this is combined about 60% of the area. This whole half is about 60% of the total pie chart. So this statement of engineers and designers combined is about 60%. That is also correct. C also you can mark. Now only left out is the last portion, which we had covered in option number A itself. But I'll again make the figure and I'll tell you from where did we get that. Let's remove this. Doctors and businessmen. Where are doctors? Blue guys. And businessmen. Businessmen are these green ones. So this, I put it on the side. So the blue ones कौन थे? Doctors. And these were businessmen. The statement says is more than half of the total resident, but this is less than half. Less than half, only this much portion is covered. So this is less than half. This is not more than half. So option D is incorrect. Your only answer would be A, B, and C. So just by interpreting the graph, you can get the answer. Now, some, of course, these data would not be next to each other, but you have to, trace out, if you want to trace out one part, then, place it next to this and then check out, okay, what is 1/3? What will be half? What will be more than half? These all data you need to interpret. You need to basically cut, copy, paste, and visualize. One more question in this. This might seem to be a very lengthy one, but believe me, it is as simple as any other question. It will hardly take you 2 minutes in the examination. I'll take the longer method to explain you better, but in the examination, it will take you less than 2 minutes. Don't get scared by the length of the question. The figure given below shows 6 bar charts. These are bar charts. Above we saw one pie chart. We saw one X and Y graph, 2D graph based on coordinates. This is a bar graph. Bar means these are bars, vertical bars. Responding to the volume of agricultural produce from the farms of various farmers. These are farmers Vinita. I'll just zoom in a bit. Vinita, Nalli, Sukanya, Priya, Sunita, and Neela are there. And they have some farm produce of 3 different variety of vegetables. Tomatoes, green bars are leafy vegetables, blue bars are berries. Red, green, and blue. Assume that they have seen each other's bar charts. How can you correctly make at least one of the following statements? Who of them can correctly make at least one of the following statements? These statements are, first one, everyone who produced any one item more than what I produced, she also produced every other item more. What does that mean? Suppose let's take Neela. Or suppose let's take someone who select Nalli, who has a big deviation in data. Everyone who produced any one item more than what I produced. Suppose she produced tomatoes as 40. And Priya, she produced 70 times, 70 kgs of potato. Let's suppose these numbers are kilograms. They've not mentioned what is the unit, base unit. Let us suppose these are kilograms. So Nali produced 40 kgs of tomato. Priya produced 70. Everyone who has produced any one item more than what I produced. So Priya has produced more than what I have produced. She also produced every other item more. Suppose the green leafy vegetables, she has 20. Priya produced 60. That is more than what I produced. She produced 60 berries, 60 kg berries. But here, Priya only produced 20. My statement says every other person. Now I have only considered Nalli for now. You have to consider every other person. Any one item. So suppose I considered tomatoes. She produced more tomatoes than me. So first condition is satisfied. Let us say condition number 1A. This is satisfied. She produced tomatoes more than me. Then she has to produce every other item more than me. Of course, the leafy vegetables she produced more than me. Correct? One part. But berries she produced lesser than me. So for Nalli, this statement would be false. First, 1A I have satisfied, but 1B I could not satisfy. These two conditions should be satisfied for statement 1 to be true, but I've only satisfied 1A, so this statement becomes wrong. Let us check one more statement. Now, I've only checked for Priya. You have to check for Vinita as well. Okay, suppose she has 60. Less. Suppose let us consider leafy vegetables. She has produced more leafy vegetables than me. Every other item she also should be producing more than me, but she produced lesser berries. So यहाँ भी गलत हो गया. Here also it is wrong. You have to check for every other data. In here also, it won't be correct because she has produced lesser volume than me. That's not satisfied. Sunita has produced more green vegetables. Okay, 20. She has produced 60. So tomatoes or berries भी मुझसे ज़्यादा she has to produce. She has to produce more than me, but she has produced lesser. Statement is wrong. This statement is wrong. Let us consider Neela. She hasn't produced anything more than me, so this is also wrong. Now, I've only considered Nalli, but you have to consider every one of them. Vinita, Sukanya, Priya, Sunita, and Neela. You have to consider for everyone. Okay. Now, either one of these statements should be correct. Now, let us check out the second statement. Everyone who produced one item less than what I produced, she also produced at least one other item less. Here also two conditions are there. I'll mark the first condition as 2A and the second condition as 2B. This condition. Everyone who produced one item less than what I produced. Suppose let's take Neela itself. I'll just rub this portion. Hope you have noted it, or you can take a screenshot going behind and just rub this portion. And let us see how our second statement falls out. Let's take Nalli itself. Everyone who produced one item less than what I produced. Okay. So suppose she produced 60 berries, 60 kg berries. Priya produced only 20 kgs. So first item is satisfied. She produced one item less than me. But she would also have produced at least one other item less than me. Either potato or these tomatoes she would have produced less than me. No, she has produced more than me. Not satisfied the condition. She has produced only 20 kg green vegetables, but she has produced more than me. This value should be lesser than 20. Then only this second statement is satisfied. So for this, the statement would be wrong. So this is how you interpret data. Now let us consider Neela, for instance. You can just take a look at the bar graph in one glance and see whose data is more promising. Suppose I take Neela. Let's take the first statement. Everyone who produced any one item more than what I produced. Suppose let's take Neela, she has 60 kg tomatoes. Priya produced more than me, 70 kgs. No other person has produced more tomatoes. So first 1A is satisfied. She has also produced every other item more. 70 है, यहाँ पे 60 है, not more. 60 है, यहाँ पे 20 है, not more. First statement to not satisfied. Let's take a look at second statement. Everyone who produced one item less than what I produce. Suppose let's take berries. I produced 60, she produced 20. One item she has produced less than me. She also had produced at least one other item less than me. I produced 70 kg of leafy vegetables. She produced only 60. So my second A and second B both are satisfied. So second statement is true for Neela. This question said at least one statement of the following should be true. You can check for others. I've already checked it before. You can check for others and you can check out the condition. So for at least one condition, only Neela's data is more promising. So I'll mark C. Okay, but what you can do is check for every other data. For 60, it is moving down to 20. 70 say it is dropping down to 60. My other statement is also proven, 2A and 2B. Let's check for this also. 70 say it is dropping to 30. Berries B, 60 dropping to 30. This is also correct. For Nalli also, let's check. 70, 20. 2A satisfied. Let's check 2B. 60 say 40. This is also satisfied. Let's check for the last one. From 70, she's producing 60. 2A satisfied. 2B, 60 and 40. So for every other person, Neela's data is more promising. I'm satisfying this second term. Since it was a multiple selection question, you have to do for every other person. You can check out from these also. From Vinita, you can check. One data for Vinita, you can check for once. If one is satisfying, no. Okay, you can eliminate it. Second satisfying, okay. Then Vinita would be your answer. So from options also only you can take. Because here only 4 of the people are there. In graph, 6 people are there. So if you go by the options also, it will save you some time. Neela mein, I just took C and verified second statement is promising. I mark C. That is your answer. Okay, so this is how you interpret data for graphs. May it be a pie chart, may it be a linear coordinates in X and Y, or it is a vertical bar graph. Any of these things you can solve. Basic interpretation of data. All right. The second scenario, second case, scenario 2 or case number 2 is image based. Where some image is given to you, you have to interpret from the image how data is different. How from data you can manipulate and solve the question. Let's check this question. This came in UC 2021. Okay, this might seem to be very scary, a long question, but it is actually very simple. Let's take a good color. Let's take black. After retiring, 8 friends are there. Okay, name are written. Purchase a square plot of land. This is the square plot of land. They divided the land into 8 equal parts and a common back garden. This is the common back garden. From everyone's house, this would be accessible. Parmar was allotted plot number 1. Balram, this Parmar has been allotted plot number 1. This information I know. Parmar. Balram preferred the house on the west. Now this compass is given to us. Let's mark that. It will be easier for us to interpret. North, south, this is west, and this is east. And you can check northeast, northwest, southwest, southeast. You can check. So second statement was Balram preferred a house in the west. So in the west, Parmar has already been allotted plot number 1. So this guy, Balram, would be either 8 or 7. Let's write Balram here. He would be allotted either 8 or 7. Patel chooses to stay the farthest from Nadkarni's house. Okay. This also data I have. Okay. So if I say, I'll just, mark this statement right here. Patel chooses to stay farthest from Nadkarni. Munshi and Bhandari become neighbors of Nadkarni. Nadkarni is already mentioned. Sethuram becomes a neighbor of Patel. Okay. Nadkarni hails from the northeast. This statement is important. Nadkarni hails from northeast. Northeast would be this, the third house. So Nadkarni stays here. And one statement, Patel chooses to stay farthest from Nadkarni. What will be farthest from here? 5 or 1 or 7? Farthest here would be 7. Why? Because there's a garden. So he has to go from 3 to 1, 8 and 7, or 3, 4, 5, 6 and 7. So this house 7 would belong to Patel. Naturally, I know Balram's house would be 8 because I didn't decide best would be 8 or 7. Now this says, let's go back to our statement. Munshi and Bhandari become neighbors of Nadkarni. Munshi and Bhandari would be either 2 and 4. Okay, Sethuram becomes a neighbor of Patel. Patel stays here. Balram is already the neighbor, so Sethuram would be here. All right. Now let's go back to the data. Munshi and Bhandari become neighbors of Nadkarni. Suppose, Munshi is here, let's assume, and Bhandari is here. Okay, Nadkarni stays from northeast, so he chooses a problem. So which of the statement must be true? I've already marked some of these people's plots where they would be residing. I'm only left with 5. 5 has not been allotted. Bhandari could be either in 2, Munshi could be either in 2. 5, only one guy is remaining, that is Das. Das would be staying here. So the first statement is true. Das stays in plot number 5. Munshi could be a neighbor of Parmar. Parmar stays at 1. Munshi could be a neighbor. This statement is important. यहाँ पे Bhandari could be there or Munshi could be there. Munshi could be a neighbor of Parmar. That is also true. If this statement was Munshi is a neighbor of Parmar, then it would be wrong. Because Bhandari could also be staying at 2. Got it? Balram and Nadkarni could be neighbors. Balram यहाँ पे है 8 पे. Nadkarni is way back at 3. They can never be neighbors. This is wrong. Balram shares a wall with Bhandari. Balram is here, and then Bhandari is right here. He could be either here. Let's mark it with a different color. Here, or this guy could be here. He can never share a wall. Wall would be this, adjacent, but he does not share a wall. Can never share a wall. So D is also incorrect. So your answer becomes A and B. Now this is image-based interpretation of data. All right, let's move on. Now there could be some information-based questions. Some information is given to you. Some some elements are given to you, and those elements you have to arrange based on what the question is demanding. There's no image that is given to you. There's no graph from where you can interpret. There's just information in form of text that is given to you. Let us see. No image, no graphs, only some statements and some elements, some variables are given to you. Those variables you have to set in this particular question. Let's see. Sundays are longer than Mondays. Mondays are shorter than Fridays. Sundays are longer than Mondays. So let's take Sunday and let's take Monday. I'm just plotting these all data in space. Just see how I plot. This will give you a good insight how you need to interpret the question. And you have your rough sheet. You'll be given a rough sheet when you're solving USEED. So in that rough sheet, you can write it side by side as you're reading the question. Okay, just like how I am doing, you can write that similarly. Sundays are longer than Mondays. Suppose I write Sunday here and Monday here. Sunday is ahead than Monday. Mondays are shorter than Fridays, so Friday would be ahead of Monday, Friday. First information I have. Let's change the color. Wednesdays are shorter than Saturdays. Let's write Wednesday here. Wednesdays are shorter than Saturdays. So Saturdays are a little ahead, which in turn is shorter than Sunday. So Sunday के पीछे ही Saturday है. That I've written already. Thursdays are shorter than Saturdays. Thursdays are shorter than Saturdays. So I have to write it behind Saturday. Tuesdays are longer than Saturdays. So Tuesday would be right here, ahead of Saturday. Wednesdays and Thursdays are both longer than Friday. Now, these two data I have, one is in blue, one is in red. See how I differentiate. First, it was only a combination of Sundays, Friday, and Monday. 3 data were there. Then the blue data was the related data: Tuesday, Saturday, Thursday, and Wednesday. From this question, these blue were related and the red one were related. But starting from this information, Wednesdays and Thursdays are both longer than Friday. Friday is the red data. Wednesday and Thursday is the blue data. I have to combine this data ahead now. Let's combine that. So the combined data would look something like this, that Thursdays and Wednesdays are there. Okay, are both longer than Friday. Friday would be somewhere behind it. Monday is behind it as well. Friday के ahead में there is Sunday. Okay, Friday के ahead में there is Sunday. Thursday and Friday के ahead में there is Saturday and Tuesday. So I write Saturday, I write Tuesday, and I write Sunday. Why? Because Saturday is always ahead of Tuesday and Wednesday, but it is behind Tuesday. So Saturday will come between Sunday and Friday. So this green data I have, just interpreting, two kinds of information that were related. All the red ones were related to each other, and all the blue ones were related to each other. I combine these two and generate a secondary, the third form of data. Now let us look at the option. Which of these following are true? Wednesdays could be as long as Thursdays. I've been given no data regarding Wednesdays, Thursday, which is longer, which is not. So Wednesdays and Thursday could be the same. Could be. They didn't say are. So they could be same because no data is given to us. So A is true. Tuesdays could be longest days of the week. Tuesday is right here. I've not been given the data, is Tuesday bigger or Sunday bigger? I don't know. So by this data, Tuesday could be the longest day of the week. Mondays are the shortest day of the week. This one, though, at the last. Mondays are the shortest days of the week. Friday could be as long as Sunday. Friday is right here. Sunday is right here. Both can never be as long as each other. So D is wrong. Your option is A, B, and C. So, side by side, you can just plot in the data, take the secondary data, and from that, it will be easier to then mark A, B, C, D. That's it. You're done. Okay, this came in MCQ. So, this is of much value plus 4 marks. So, solve it accordingly. Last question. Same information based. One more example. Same method what we applied above. P, Q, R, and S are competing in a slow cycle race. Matlab, the slowest cyclist wins. A few minutes after, suppose P, Q, R, and S are here, they are at the starting line. Okay. A few minutes after the race begins, P is physically ahead of Q. Suppose let us mark our data. They have moved ahead. P is ahead of Q. R and S are physically behind Q. So R and S are behind Q. This information I already. S is physically behind R. So I can rub this and say S is behind R. So this is how, when they start the race, this is how it will look like. P got eliminated. After a while, P got eliminated. This guy got eliminated. R overtakes Q. Just before reaching the end mark, suppose here is the end mark, S overtakes Q. Okay, so it will be behind R. It is overtaking Q. It does not overtake R. So S would be between Q and R. Which of the options would be true? So this data I have to see, the last data that I have, when they are about to reach the end mark. Suppose this is the end. R is the winner. You can mark R is the winner. He's moving ahead. But their option would be wrong. Why? Because the slowest cyclist wins. Matlab, if Q is behind, they're about to reach the end mark. Q is सबसे पीछे. So Q would be the winner, not R. S is not the winner. S is the runner-up. Q is not the runner-up. Q is the winner. And R is not a winner. R is a loser because he reached the end line first. So the winner would be Q because he is the last. It is a slow cycle race. So your option would be C. Many people would just mark A when they get this data and they will lose 1/3 of the marks. All right. So this is all there is about data interpretation. Along with reading the question, you can, mark all of the data that you have. If you don't want to make major mistakes, what I would suggest is read the question first, read the whole question first, what they're demanding. Then read it again, and then start to plot your data on the rough sheet, and then get the answer. This is how you can progress. Okay, then you will not make a mistake. Of course, it will take you 1 minute extra, but you will get the exact results. So this was all about different types of data interpretation. It could be information based, it could be an image based, or it could be graphical. Mostly, it is a combination. How USEED and SEED give, there'll be a combination. Some graph based questions, some information based questions, some image based questions. All right. So this is all from the maths series. So we are starting with a 1 month boot camp for part A, USEED, SEED, and NID, where it will begin from 4th of September, next week, Saturday. It will include live lectures plus recorded expert lectures. Now, just to give you a brief of what all is included in this, so there'll be 8 live lectures, each of 2 hours duration, where faculties from IIT and NID rankers would be taking the lectures, break down some tips and tricks that have helped them to succeed and surely would help you. Now, these would also include recorded expert lectures covering both part A. We are not leaving part B. That will also be covered. That you can cover up on weekdays. So the live lectures happen on weekends. The expert lectures can be taken up during the weekdays. There'll be quizzes, there'll be workbooks, there'll be assignments during this boot camp to make you practice. Now, topics that are of most eminence and relevant, like mathematics, spatial ability, mechanical reasoning, drawings, creativity, all of these would be covered in the recorded and live lectures. All these study materials and the live lectures can be accessed through the online website or through the Designing Studio app. The prices are very genuine. We wanted to create a course that would provide much benefit rather than looking at the cost of the whole package. So we have kept it to a very decent 1,699 and 699. So the pricing above is for with the live lectures and the recorded lectures, both will be there. But in the 699 package, live lectures would not be there. There'll only be recorded lectures for you to access. Limited seats are there. We want to keep the batch size really small so that we can have focus on the candidates. And the number is provided. You can log into the website. You can see the link below, and we have added it to the description as well. So you can go and quickly register before the seats fill up.